Hello, everybody.
everyone.
How are you? Well, we got a lot of questions today.
Yes, the
And
34th Q&A.
34th Q&A with lots of questions, but we couldn't take them all today, so we're going to have some, we'll add some to next week or next month. Okay, well, Amy's asking, with the changes coming upon us in the world, will Daniel be providing more information and details ahead of time? This isn't really a channel for the world changes things. This is a channel for the world changes and the things in terms of uplifting our awareness and raising our consciousness so we will be better able to handle whatever happens. So, I mean, I really recommend everybody do their own research and make their own decisions about what's happening. I'm not trying to tell you what's happening. I'm just saying that something is happening, something that's never happened before on Earth, and I don't believe it will ever happen again. Hopefully it will never happen again. And there's going to be lots of changes coming, like we talked about in the seminar. But what you need to do physically, just ask your guardian angel. Go do a little research and pick up on some of this information. It's coming from not the legacy media, but new media, new alternative media that are bringing out these points that the mainstream media aren't. Just do that and just think for yourself and ask your guardian angel, because that's the best way to get guidance. I can't really recommend things for you in this way. Gold assets, fiat money. I can't talk to you about what you should do. You have to figure that out yourself. But I will tell you this. Before I met Dascalos, I was studying with this wonderful spiritual lady named Hilda in New York City. And she was always talking about big earth changes are coming, kids. You got to wake up. You got to get ready. And it's, some of them did. They moved out of New York City and bought property up in the mountains. And one couple was very serious. They took this very, very serious. And they thought, wow, where can we go that's going to be the safest place on Earth, right? So they looked and they looked and they studied and they studied. And this was back in the 90s, early 90s. And finally they decided the Falkland Islands was the proper place. That's going to be the safest place for them to live. Now, the Falkland Islands are owned off of Argentina, and they're owned by the United Kingdom. And so they decided. So they sold everything they had, packed up their kids and everything, and went to the Falkland Islands. 2 weeks later, a war broke out there. So this kind of goes to what Christ was saying. If you try to save your life, you will lose your life. If you don't care much for your life, now he means your egotism, the egotism of the personality's life. If you don't care much for that, you'll find your real life, your divine life. And so we don't want to really worry too much about our material body so much. In fact, a New York circle leader was talking to Dascalos about all this. And he said, why do you want to save your material body? The point is, if you're in the right vibration, you will be saved. If you seek the kingdom of heaven, you will be saved. So we don't need to get too concerned about all these false flags and scary stories or just uncertainty that we are facing in this time.
Can you please read her question to the end?
Well, I wanted to answer this part here because this is the relevant part. I know he said, while not all things in Revelations will happen to everyone, I do not know if I should make other practical preparations, like non-perishable food storage, making sure I have a thriving garden. Thriving garden's great. And whether anything's going on, I think everyone should have at least 3 weeks of food, because look what happened at Katrina when the hurricane. The government took forever to help those people. So we have to really be more prepared to help ourselves, at least in the short term. We're not talking years, we're talking weeks, So I would say at least have enough food and water on hand for weeks. But that's if you feel inspired to do that. Maybe that's not the right thing for you. Or perhaps an investment in a solar panel to run common items should that power be affected. I have a family and need to prepare them and myself to the degree I can. I'm not sure how to think about these things. given the Hamas-Israeli war, I can see how things can go downhill rather quickly. Yeah, they can. And again, every one of us has to should pay attention to this. We don't want to be caught off guard. They talk about in Revelations, everything starts happening and it comes like a thief in the night. Well, if you're not studying this now, it will seem like a thief in the night to you if some big change has happened. So just most importantly, this channel is about raising our vibrations. So we'll be better able to deal with whatever comes along. And had those people maybe thought about, doing that instead of trying to find some place to save their material body, they wouldn't have got into that trouble by entering into a country that just got immediately into a war. So.
Thank you. Yes. As a practical, physical preparation, as Daniel says, please ask your guardian angel and receive the intuition and guidance what to do practically. But my advice is, yes, please invest to prepare stock the food and create a nice garden. It's good. And more than food, please prepare or acquire the source of good pure water, good quality water. And it's good, it might be good to invest the gold instead of having a saving, but we can't eat gold, but we need water, clean water, and food for a while to survive, to maintain our material body. So I would recommend you to prepare those things. And also, if you create something physically, please have a mind to exchange what you have with what someone has. It's very important to share whatever we have, even a little amount, sharing each other. Have heard to share each other what we have, whatever we have. And the coming world is going to be like a, sharing world in the light. So prepare the water, food, and heart to share with other people. This is and the solar panel. Please research deeper. Solar panel. It says it's good for the environment, but in the long span, it might have the harmful side effect for the environment. So please research and decide by yourself. And as the preparation spiritually, I have 3 things to say. First one, please don't have fear in yourself, whatever happens. Using reason, we researchers of truth practice to use reason, right? Then using reason, everything is said in liberation, which means using reason, which is everything is in divine plan, right? So, as long as we live on the teaching, having a peace, love, wisdom in us, and express it in here now, you will be all right. You will be guided. So, first advice is, please don't have fear in you, and live faithfully on teaching. Feel peace, try to create peace, love, and receive the wisdom from above. And next to Patreon meditation, we are going to upload to discern what is positive and what is negative, and try to have the middle point to observe everything. and receive the higher guidance and intuition, acquiring this viewpoint. So please work on this meditation. And my second advice is, many things are going on the planet Earth, but we know the planetary logos, the consciousness of this planet Earth knows each one of us, the self-awareness, self-consciousness of each one of us living on the planet, which means nothing happened by chance. That consciousness understands everything based on that understanding or event, the many events we are experiencing. Each one of us are experiencing the event. So again, using reason, nothing happened by chance. And whatever happened in front of us right now, please overcome, try your best to overcome using reason and teaching with peace and love. But be careful. Nature disaster and man-made disaster is different. So we need to have a clear viewpoint of observation and discern what it is. No? But the nature disaster, what we call nature disaster, is kind of cleansing process. But the human-made disaster is something different. So again, please have the neutral standing point, viewpoint, and live wisely using reason. And my third advice is Daniel mentioned a little bit. The kingdom of heaven is the state. It's not somewhere we need to go and find. It's here. It's a certain state above all conditions. All conditions. All health and all paradise. Beyond that, kingdom of heaven is. Which means, please create the state of the kingdom of heaven. In here, now. As Daniel said, physically, we don't need to go anywhere. Of course, we need to prepare, crisis or danger, physical danger, of course. But not, more than what we really need. But have confidence and try to create the kingdom of heaven, state of kingdom of heaven, and try to enter into that state in here, now. That's going to help people around us, the whole environment, and it's going to be very beneficial for the entire planet. So please meditate and connect, go in inner world and connect your inner self and enter into the kingdom. This vibration is what we need, what our planet needs right now. And the last advice is, in case something very bad, I don't want to call it that, but some event happened, in case we passed on, then please think about it with reason. Where will we go? We will transit into the space in the psychical world, which is the similar conditions, the same vibration and same condition. We will wake up in that environment, in our psychoanalytical shell. This is what's going to happen, our passing on. Which means, please create the paradise in here now. Then whatever happened physically, in the worst scenario physically, we will reach to the world, the place, environment where we are experiencing now. Please meditate on that. That's all my advice for your question.
Laura's asking, hello and happy Thanksgiving, dear ones. Happy Thanksgiving.
I don't know.
Can you say something about the being, Sata'al, who comes to help one's work with the symbol of life? Is he related to Gabriel, sharing the blue as his color? Is this the same being that is referred to by some as Vidar, whose name comes from the Old Norse mythology? My mother-in-law has been reading and answers philosophical literature about Vidar as a great being who comes more into play in humanity's development as men begin to work with the etheric body alongside their moral development. In our system, self-awareness alongside holy spiritual consciousness. I believe he's experienced as a blue column of light, which made me wonder about the possible connection. Well, let me just answer that. I don't really know the Norse mythology, so I don't know, but the blue column, there could be a connection. You might be right. But it's not Gabriel, even though they both have blue light. And it's definitely not your guardian angel. It's a very specific angel that's sent to you by Yohanan, really, when we begin this work, to help us progress up these two ladders of, consciousness and the ladders of self-awareness. So his job is to escort us, as it were, to be. Now, next you ask, can we evoke him when we practice the labors, or when we just appear, or will he just appear when we are ready? With great thanks to both of you and our blessed great ones. Yeah, you can. And in fact, there's specific meditations that Asklos has given that is called the Archangel Behind You, because he stands behind you and he's bigger than a human being, just a little bigger than a human being. And he tends, when you connect with him, he puts his hands over your head and adjust the light and the vibrations in your body to help you. Now, I'm sure you've all remember Egyptian statues, right? You notice how a lot of those Egyptian statues, they have their hand, they're like in a meditation, but they have their hands placed on their thighs. On their thighs. And that's the way to connect with him. That's the connection with him. And just try to feel him. Don't try to create him. Don't try to do anything. Just try to receive. And when I say feel him, I mean, I want you to detect him. Detect his vibrations. Maybe even his light. And certainly any guidance. So that's the way you do it. You put your hands on your thighs and try to connect. Now this archangel is, they say he's very handsome. And I've seen he wears blue. There's this blue light off of him. And it's a blue you haven't seen on Earth, really. So, yeah, that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. So many things to say, but first of all, sa-ta-ar. Sa means truth. Ta means fully expression, fully giving. And the R, as we know, God. And in the word pleasure of the creation in himself. So Sata R means that. And yes, in my experience, it shows up from him. How can I say? So it's good that expect to see or experience him, but as we say many times, they are watching over us. So once we are ready to see or experience, they're going to appear in the right moment, in the right timing. So And yes, as Daniel says, he's not he's not our guardian archangel. No, he's not our real self. No, he's not the Gabriel, but he has a beautiful sky blue. But I would say no. In some part it says sky blue, but it's kind of silvery blue, the higher, more different hue of vibration, but the blue tone, and he's behind us. No, sorry, the bottom part is in our feet from the pelvis area, but behind the pelvis, he's always behind us, and he's already behind us because he's been with us through all our incarnation until we reach theosis, all the way, and he's controlling our breathing system, inhaling, exhaling, and also it's almost like solving a riddle. But he is the archangel in the matter, and also he's the archangel of the spirit. So yes, and also what kind of information? Oh, he's being together, so we don't need to find him, but he's already in us, with us, all the way. But we can do the exercise to, acknowledge, experience him consciously. So the exercise, which is called the Archangel Each Behind Us, it's available in Store series. So please check it out and practice it. It's a beautiful meditation, and I would rather than I say a lot of information about him, I would like to ask you to experience him through the meditation. And it's an archangelic form exercise, creating a golden flame from right, left, after creating a equal-sided triangle, And then after making two currents of the golden flame, and we create a white flame, and then lotus flower open up, and then we make a torch, visualize the torch. Then something happens. Then this archangel will work on. In my experience, I feel like I think many people already experience when we meditate. Something, we feel something is happening inside of our brain energetically. Many people experience it, I believe. So this is the experience from that archangel. It has a very deep meaning, but please try the meditation and experience it. And I'm sorry, I don't know about Bidar, Norse mythology, so I would like to refrain making a comment. Seems like similar, but according to your comment, but I don't know deeply about it, so I can't say anything about the Bidar connection between the Satar and the Bidar. What else? Let me check. Yes, so far. So far.
Okay,
That's
Mario is
advice.
asking. Hi, Mario.
Hi, Mario.
What does the solar plex hold exactly? The subconsciousness. Of course, the subconsciousness is everywhere. You can find the entire subconsciousness even in a drop of blood. So it's not so much a locality because it's pretty much everywhere in and around us. Is it a storehouse of past emotions, thoughts, and feelings? Or is it simply a storehouse of etheric energy and elementals? Well, past thoughts and feelings are elementals. But isn't it center six a storehouse of emotions? No. It's all mixed together. That's why we call it psychonoetical, because the emotions are of the psychical and noetical are of the thought. So they're all mixed together in different degrees and qualities. And it's everywhere, like I said. So what I want to say is, yes, it is what you suggested here, a storehouse of energy and a storehouse of emotions, thoughts, feelings. In other words, elementals. But there's a storehouse of something else. Our subconsciousness has three chambers. One of the chambers is those elementals that we have created and re-energized. That takes on a part of that subconsciousness. Another part is a chamber that's just full of energy. And it's that energy is used by us daily. We have to use it to move around, to talk, to do work. All the things we do, there's an energy supply for that. And we're using it. And it's a certain allotment every day. It's not unlimited, obviously. We all work and we get too tired. We feel the depletion of it. So that's the other one. And then there's another chamber of energy. It's purely creative energy. And this is what the archangels use to keep our bodies healthy and alive. It repairs damages to cells and bones. It just keeps the body healthy and alive in maintenance. And we can't touch that one. We can't touch that chamber. That's not under our control. We can and do share that other energy chamber with the archangels and, going here and doing all the stuff we do. And you'll notice what happens. If you overuse that chamber, you use too much energy, overworking, overpartying, whatever, something happens. They don't have enough. They need some of that energy too. And so your body needs that energy. So if you notice, when you overwork and you get extremely tired or get over emotional and go down emotionally or over mental anxiety and just troubling thoughts, turning them around, you'll notice that you're very likely to get sick. When our etheric vitality gets brought down too low, then we become more susceptible to the germs and microbes which are everywhere in the environment. So these are the three chambers in there. And we work with the one. We try to purify. We try to eliminate the negative and unhealthy emotions and thoughts. Unnecessary ones, too. There's a lot of clutter in there, but from unnecessary thoughts and emotions and desires and intentions we have in our daily life. This is why in this last seminar we talked about the labor of Hercules cleaning the stables. The stables represent the chakras. So they get polluted. It's like burning a fire, and there's ashes afterwards. So even good elementals leave some residue. So we have to clean these things. We have to clean these centers out. And for sure, we all could use with, raising our vibrations, which means having better, more creative thoughts, raise our feelings, having more loving, kind thoughts. You want to answer that one now before we go to the next? Perhaps?
May I? Is it finished?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm doing it like you suggested, we just stop here and then I'll do this one and then he has several questions.
Of course, it's good for maybe listeners, everyone, to answer one by one. Mm-hmm.
That's okay. So you want to talk about that?
Yes. Yes, as we did in the last seminar, in the stable of Algiers, we practice in 2 stables to cleanse the 2 stables, which means solar plexus center and the heart center. Both centers are in a gathering place of our elementals, but the solar plexus center is more kind of subconscious. And the heart center is the mixture of consciousness and the self-awareness. So, yes, a little vibration is different, but solar plexus center, but both centers need to be cleansed. And the solar plexus center is the, as Daniel says, the storehouse of the etheric vitality. And after accumulating etheric vitality, in all over our body, then it's stored, it's stored in the our solar plexus center. So it's the seat of the etheric vitality. Although etheric vitality is everywhere, same thing, the subconsciousness. Subconscious is everywhere in our body, outside of our body, everywhere. But the seed of our subconsciousness is in the solar plexus. So it's a gathering place of all kind of elementals we need to clean. And the heart center is also the gathering place of elemental. The Christ was born in a manger in the cave, right? That represents it's a symbolic. It means heart center. But heart center, the manger is the food, basket of the food for the animal, right? But there is a teaching behind it. The animal gathered to have the food in our heart center. But we should cleanse our heart center and make it the holy of holy in our material body and receive the real nutrition, which is the etheric vitality. So we should use our heart center as the holy of holy of our material body and receive the plenty of life energy, etheric vitality. This is the one of the symbolic meaning of why Christ was born in the manger in the cave, which means heart center.
Next part of the question is about the book of Revelations and Second Coming. Can you talk more extensively about this topic? What kind of changes might we see? We covered that in the seminar. We took a couple of classes for that one. But let's separate this, Revelations and the Second Coming. Revelations, there's three revelations. There's an internal one, an external one that's called the planetary revelation, and then there's the solar revelation. What most people say when you say revelations, they're thinking about the outer one, the planetary one. But Daskal has taught us the inner revelations. So revelations is actually the Christian initiation, taken symbolically and microcosmically, which means concerning the human being. So when it talks about rivers of blood, it's your blood. It's not just, the planetary revelations are talking about rivers of blood, and that's a different thing, but that's the external one. But the internal one, the rivers of blood are your blood. And you remember there's one part in there that says, it become like a dead man, which means it has no etheric vitality. So there are some people who have become dead. Christ said that. He said, let the dead bury the dead. You follow me. Because people at that time were walking around dead, sleeping, subconsciously just getting up, working, eating, going back to sleep, the whole 9 yards. And it's exactly what we're doing now, what most people are doing now. So a lot of the time it's like the walking dead. They just get up and do the same pattern, same thing. There's no fresh life in some people in this process. And some people, they have it to varying degrees. But this is what it's representing. So we don't have time to go through all those that we did in the seminar, but just realize there's a revelations about what's happening with you in terms of your spiritual evolution, if we can call it that way, your spiritual awakening. We go through, there's earthquakes in our life, there's great trials and tribulations we face. We think it's all coming externally, and it is, but the internal one can't happen at once. The external one can start to happen and everything starts happening. But the internal one cannot possibly happen that way because the internal one is based on everyone's degree of awareness and their consciousness. So everyone will come to their own revelation in time. However, I will say that the more people who become self-realized, who go through the revelations and become self-realized, the faster it accelerates it for everybody else on the planet. So, what kind of changes might we see? Internal revelations, you're going to see things drop away that you used to cherish. Things that bothered you before won't bother you again because you're going up, you're transcending all this stuff. I'll just go ahead and finish all this because it's related. Economic changes after the second. Well, first of all, what's the second coming? The second coming is everybody's, Jesus is going to show up in the flesh and walk around again. That's not the second coming. If he came again, right, especially right now, I think they'd just kill him again. But the second coming is when the Christ comes to you. This is the Christ consciousness awakening in you, in each of us. And when you reach self-realization, you'll have all the levels of consciousness and full self-awareness, and that is Christ consciousness. So the second coming is when this, basically, is the recognition of our true self. And with that comes the Christ consciousness. More money going around to more people? I would think so, because right now we're under a system that, like, the 1% has basically turned the other 99% into debt slaves in our world. And there's not enough. They've created a sense of scarcity about oil and money and water and all this stuff, and we're all just scrambling trying to get enough for ourselves. They've lied. And they have usurped the money that should be for everyone. I mean, Christ is saying, share, the strong should lift the burdens of the weaker. So that means that we should be sharing these resources. Especially people who can get the resources, They should be sharing it with those that are struggling to have enough resources. More opportunities to work, less hoarding. Some people say I don't know. We better not go into that. But it's just going to be better. Much, much better. And those oppressive things that's been on humanity will be lifted from their shoulders. Again, it's this 1% elite thing that has really messed up our world for everybody else. And that can't last forever. It has a time that's going to come to an end. And in fact, you can see things falling away right now if you're paying attention. Okay. Just in general, Mario, I'd say it's just more fairness to everybody. It's just much more fairness. Economically, all kinds of things. Earth changes. Will we have massive earth changes resulting in change of geography, forming new nation, or just enhanced participation by people with their government? Well, it's going to be both, but it's going to be earth changes, of course. If you read Revelations, they talk about earthquakes and, land disappearing and new land appearing. All that's going to happen. And there will be forming of new nations, I'm sure of that. And there will be enhanced participation by the people with their governments. There was this, I forget what city it was, but one city here in the United States, they went in and they just, at the local government level, they threw everybody out. They said they didn't like what they were teaching their kids in school, if you know about that one, and many, many other things. And they didn't like what they did, so they just got rid of them. And the people actually left. There were so many people came. The people in holding office just left and let these people reestablish. There was two cities that happened to. So, there's going to be more personal involvement with their government. You want to say something?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Of course. The book of Revelation and the second coming of Christ. we are the researchers of truth, right? So please study the teaching and work on the symbol of life. Then we will know the meaning of the liberation. And it's a process of cleansing each one of us and everything existing in the world of creation. This is what we see, what's going as the event, what's going on in the outer world. The same process is happening inside of us. Please study the symbol of life. We will know what it really means. And the second coming of Christ is, yes, it's not someone or the Christ is coming and no, wrong. Each one of us, the Christ consciousness will come. So Christ said, watch and pray. Watch and pray. Whatever happens in our world, especially right now, please observe without judging like super positively or super negative, and not like that. Stay still. But try your best to stay still. Calm down all kind of storm in you and watch, observe everything, and receive the higher guidance or higher intuition from above, from inside of yourself, and connect yourself with higher realms, and seek the path to express the light and the love from above, divine, the light of your divine self, your Christ consciousness. Seek inside of you, here, now. This is the second coming of Christ. So you have many questions what the world's going to be, but please meditate or create the image, visualize. If you are God, you are God, right? What kind of world should be developed? What kind of world do you want to create as God? And visualize it ahead of you, clearly, strongly, and consciously.
Joe is asking, hello friend.
Hey Joe.
In Mark, when Christ says, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but put it on a lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. Is there a deeper mystical meaning behind the basket and lampstand? Thank you for your profound tending to the teachings. Yeah, of course. There's a couple places where this principle is referenced in the Bible. And this is one of them where it's like, the point of it is, if you have light, you don't put it under a basket. You don't hide it. You put it up high so it gives light to all. That's clear. So that's us. That's you, Joe. When you have light and you have some light to share, don't hide it. Put it up high where people can see it. That doesn't mean we're supposed to evangelize or, proselytize people when they're not really interested. But if you have some light, share it with everyone. It's very similar to the part where he talks about when you get these teachings, Christ talks about, when you get these teachings, you don't hide them. You go up on the top of the rooftop and shout them. That's what he said. Because these are great things. The light's a great thing. The teachings are a great thing. We are here to reflect them, to share them. Not proselytize them, not try to push them on anybody, or not try to force them to be spread around everywhere. Just try to offer them. But don't hide your light, Joe. That's my answer.
My answer, through my intuition and the guidance, is I understand the basket, vessel, scaling the basket, right? The basket is symbolizes our three bodies, and the light, lampstand, is the light and the love of our spirit soul. So the light of the real light, true light, coming from the highest of all. So it's symbolic. So I understand. Don't confine your true light under the influence of our three bodies. Rather than that, express the light of divine of ourselves without being buried or confined in our three bodies. This is how I understand it.
Bruce is asking, hello Daniel and AKI, the Beatitudes in Matthew, can you do a quick interpretation of each Beatitude? For example, what is meek? What is the poor of spirit in the teaching? Can they be used for introspection or absolute goals or states to overcome or reach? Many thanks. Anything on any insight you can provide. Well, we don't really have time to go through all of them, but let's just talk. The Beatitudes. Beatitude comes from the word blessedness. So this is about, and even Christ says, it begins each line, blessed are the ones who do this. Blessed are the ones who do this. Now, the meek are the humble. They're not the aggressive ones, I just mentioned the top 1%. Those are the aggressive ones. The guys that get all the money and all the power and control, those are not the meek ones. So how in the world are the meek ever going to get a hold of inheriting the earth? As long as these guys are in place, right? That's just a little food for thought. It's just, if the meek aren't going to go causing a riot and try to, demand things like this. The meek are going to just trust and walk their path the best they can, inspired by God, if you will. So, one I do want to clarify is the poor, where the Beatitude is, blessed are the poor in spirit. Right? Does that make sense? There's a lot of places in the Bible where things have been purposely and accidentally changed that confuse the meaning. And this is one of them. Because what's John say? God is spirit. And those that would approach God should approach in spirit and in truth. So having poor spirit is not really jiving with that. It doesn't make sense when it comes to that statement. What Daskalos has said was, blessed are the poor in evil spirits, which means, negative, corrupt, greedy, any of the negative stuff, all the usual suspects. If you don't have many of those, you're blessed. Definitely you're blessed, because your life is so much better than most people. Most people have just a plethora of these kind of evil spirits. And they don't have to be, killing people. It's just, negative stuff that takes you away from your divine nature. That's what an evil spirit would be, whether it's an emotion or thought or desire, whatever. And so the other one I would like to talk about, and this is the most important one, I think it's probably the most important beatitude, and that is, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Now, no place do they say, oh, the intelligent see God. No, they don't. The powerful, they see God. No, it's the pure in heart. So if you want to see God, purify your heart. Get rid of these contaminations of fear, anxiety, negativity, jealousies. You'll see God. I think I better stop there because we have so many more. So you want to take over?
Okay. But let me finish, because this is very important.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you to speak now. Okay?
Okay. It's going to be a little longer, because the beatitude, what is called beatitude, Sermon on the Mount at one of the highlights of the Christ teaching. So, back to your question, please use it for your deep introspection. And these are really ultimate aim as the researchers of truth to reach. So, answering to your question, please use these teachings for both introspection, deep introspection, and the ultimate aim to seek the truth. And that's why it's so difficult to say quickly. No, we should work on one by one so deeply and sincerely. But if meeting your request, if I try my best to explain it, the first one, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of the heavens, as Daniel says. That's right. In the Bible, normally, in general, it says just poor spirit. But in our teaching system, it says evil thought or evil spirit. So, evil elemental. So, if we cleanse what we call negative, evil spirit, elemental, automatically our vibration will be raised up, right? So, the kingdom of heaven, if we raise up our vibration, kingdom of heaven is here everywhere. So automatically we will be able to connect with it and enter in that vibration. If I explain quickly, number one, it's so. Number two, blessed are the those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This is when we cry and mourn, then don't you have the experience? When we cry a lot, after that, you feel like you are released from all burden, and you feel a little kind of better. By experiencing mourning, deep sadness, crying, after that, it's going to be fine because you are loved by God. So that's why after crying, mourning a lot, you will be comforted. Number three, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meek means kind of softness. If we put it as a color, it's the whitish pink light of the divine love. So if we express in any condition, if we express the divine love, whitish pink light, the everywhere, meek, energy, vibration of meekness, then automatically, divine, we can connect with divine love. So, which means divine love and goodness is beyond all conditions, right? So we can overcome all kind of condition of duality, which means inherit the earth, means we can overcome, go beyond it, that we can control these kind of conditions. This is what it means. Number 4. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. If you are not happy, if you are feel like tortured by unjust, and if you strongly wish to be treated fairly, if you want to receive justice, which means right now you are not given. But even in that condition, if you are strongly aiming or wishing to be treated with justice, the righteousness, then this heart, this energy will be eventually connected with the righteousness of God, justice of God, which means love, which is love and power, which is everywhere, omnipresent. So, eventually you will be filled as long as you wish justice, righteousness. This is what it means. If we explain very shortly. Number 4, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Yes, this one is our 7 promises, number 5 of our 7 promises, to love and okay. So if we express love and mercy to everyone, of course, automatically our energy will be connected to the mercy of God. And of course, we will receive the mercy of God, divine mercy. Next one, the blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Yes. Pure means not dirty, right? So please meditate that what makes your heart dirty or impure. The answer is our own perception, our own elemental. Whatever happened or whatever we experience from outer world, without our own perception to be wounded or offensed, nothing happened, right? So it all depends on our filter, how we create elemental according to the event or whatever we receive. It all depends on our perception. So if we cleanse this filter, our way of thinking, our way of feeling, blessed are the pure in heart, then we will be able to connect with our real self in the kingdom of heaven. So, as long in your daily life, please be observative. And whatever happened, when you see or experience unfavorable experience, staying calm as best as you can and observe the condition and make a prayer instead of feeling, thinking too much unnecessarily. Then our heart will be cleansed and we will be entering into the kingdom of heaven eventually. This is what it means. And the next one, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see, be called the sons of God. Sons of God. Son of God is Christ, right? When Christ was living as Joshua Emmanuel the Christ, he never ever lost his peace. Whatever he did, whatever, even on the path of the Golgotha, showing his cross, he never lost his peacefulness, which means he's always connected with the absolute calmness. So this teaching is teaching us, wherever you go, don't lose peace and express peace, divine peace, in everywhere, wherever you go. Then we will not be influenced by the outer conditions. And this teaching means the same meaning of the number 4 of our 7 promise. To endure patiently whatever we are given without complaining, because whatever we are given is caused by the wisdom of God. And then next one, as blessed are those who are persecuted for the righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Yes, it's the same thing. Whatever people persecuted you and accused you or criticized you, kingdom of heaven is here now. So, as long as you create this peaceful vibration, the kingdom of heaven, you are already in the kingdom of heaven. And the last one. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who are before you. If you practice the teaching and live on the teaching and express it, then your heart is already in the kingdom of heaven. So please rejoice, because your heart is already in heaven, whatever happening around you. And this is the greatest reward from above. So, as a researcher of truth, let's try and practice to create the kingdom of heaven, being in this period. This is my answer. Thank you.
Well, we've got time for one more, I think. This is from Dan. He's saying, my father passed away last week in my native country. Focus on the passing person was limited. Instead, the relatives had unsettled affairs, creating a stressful environment. What is recommended to shield the energies from in this situation? I ended up being on IV for 5 days.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and these things can be super stressful. It brings out all kinds of unresolved issues attachments,
Sorry for you.
of course. So, it's really, if you're in an environment where everybody's doing that, it's pretty hard to shield the energies from that. I mean, you could, but you'd have to create whatever negative energies were created. You would have to create twice the amount of positive to override it. And it's just really probably the best thing to do is just to detach from it, because your engagement in it, you feeling stressed from it, even arguing against it or trying to draw the attention back to the passing person, all that is going to just entangle you in it. And it's going to feed it even more. You might try a few comments in the beginning, but if the crowd really wants to go that way, they're going to go that way. And there's not going to be a lot you can do about it except make yourself okay, detach from that negativity, detach from that less than pure honoring of the passing person, getting all caught up in the issues and stuff. That's not really honoring the person. So just try to stay pure in your heart, just like we were talking about. And keep your feelings as connected and pure, but detached from all that other stuff. Because I don't think you're going to be able to override it.
Mm. Yes. We are not sure what you say that relatives have unsettled affairs, but we presume many things are going on about the inheriting your father things. So my advice is, please respect your father's will as best as you can. This is a courtesy and a politeness to the person who passed on. And please try your best. But physically, many people, each one of us has a different way of thinking. And sometimes we encounter very kind of sad event to fight with, the asset who the past one left, the ugly stuff. If you are in the middle of something like that, it's one good idea to hire someone, the third person or third organization, to solve these kind of material issues. But mentally, respecting your father, please create a peaceful final goal to settle all kind of ugly stuff peacefully. Yes. So creating the peaceful elemental at the end, hire someone who is neutral and to solve material things. And sometimes this decision, we can't satisfy with decision. We feel it, this is unjust. Why that person takes a lot, and why me not? Sometimes we feel it, but let it go. Even if something we feel unjust is happening, it happens, later it's going to be balanced. So please keep your heart, full of love and respect to your father and to other people. Be the peacemaker. Then the entire condition will be solved, taking time, not immediately. So make yourself very peaceful. I'm sorry you had to take IV, but we can understand deeply. So using reason, solve the issue peacefully. This is our advice.
So you're talking about all the unresolved issues. Of course, there's just massive amounts of elementals being generated about this, right? And it affects everybody in the family who's engaged in it, but it really affects the person passing. In fact, that kind of activity pulls that person back to earth because they're thinking about the person, they're thinking about the unsettled affairs, and instead you should be sending them white light so they can go on, bless them on their journey. Don't be pulling them back with attachments. Now, I had this friend who was from a wealthy farm family locally, and one of the aunts became ill and started to pass over, and everybody, unfortunately, it's a little greedy family, but everybody started thinking about what they're going to get from the aunt and all this stuff like this. Well, one day they drive by the aunt's house, and all the furniture is chopped up, laying outside in the yard. And the woman, when they asked what's she doing, she said, I could hear everybody's thoughts. I could feel their feelings and their attachments to my possession. So I just started to destroy it so they don't get it. And she chopped them up and threw them out the second-story window. That's extreme. Don't do that. But these are things. These things have real effect on people, and it drove her crazy. It really agitated her. And the people in the family, when they start talking about this kind of stuff, you get a lot of activity. A lot of activity. So, yes.
Yes, Dan. Yeah, Dan. In a sense, it is the best opportunity to observe the
can see what's
nature
going
of
on there,
the
yeah.
personality. So practice yourself, to be the peacemaker, to solve the issue, and observe each personality of your relatives or not friends. But the most important thing is to create a peaceful white light to your father. Maybe when you have a chance through your observation, if you feel you have a chance to tell all of them, okay, wait a second, okay, let's respect and send a peaceful white light to your father.
Okay.
I hope you're gonna solve it peacefully.
Well, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yes, thank
And
you
I hope
for
you had a good
many
Thanksgiving.
questions. Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
And we head into the Christmas holiday season. Let's see what happens. Many blessings.
See you next month. Thank you.